Hello everyone, it's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be doing something a little different than what I normally do, and this is going to be my top 10 albums of 2018. So I don't know if you guys follow my Instagram, but if you do, you probably know that I am a music fanatic. I hate the word fanatic, that was so cringy. I'm obsessed with music and I don't know why I don't talk about it on my channel as much. I'm very passionate about it. I'm almost always listening to music. I'm always listening to albums when they come out and I always have something to say. So why not say it for you guys in case you're interested and want to have a conversation in the description about what your favorite album is, what your top 10 favorite albums are. I'm very curious. As much as I would like to be objective about these albums and just like think about it musically, I'm definitely biased and I'm definitely going to be subjective on what my taste is, who my favorite artists are, what I was listening to the most and stuff like that. With that being said, I do have some honorable mentions to mention albums that I either should have listened to more that I could put in this, that I've heard are really good and I really fuck with a couple songs on them, or some albums I just found recently that if I listened to them more in 2018, I would have like probably put them high on the list, but I just found them, so I don't know. So yeah, if you guys enjoy music like I do, give this video a thumbs up. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and let me know if I should start making a certain like music series talking about my favorite music, my favorite music festivals, stuff like that, because you know I'm about to be going to so many festivals this year. Last year I went to like 6 or a crazy, I spent way too much money on festivals, but you know, it always ends up being worth it. That's another thing I have to mention. A lot of these people, I become way more obsessed with them when I see them in concert, so I'll kind of mention some people I've seen in concert. Giving a quick shout out to the sweatshirt I'm wearing. I'm wearing my Brockhampton sweatshirt. I freaking love it. I just thought it would go well with the theme of this video. So yeah, let's just get into it. So I'm gonna start backwards to kind of lead up to my number 1 spot. My number 10 spot is Room 25 from No Name. No Name is like probably the most underrated artist. In my opinion, she's fairly new. I haven't listened to this album nearly as much as I listened to her first album, which was Telephone, which blew me away. It's definitely my vibe, like elevator music, lo-fi, like just the best vibe, especially when you're like driving and stuff. But Room 25 is a close second, obviously her second album, but I just really fuck with No Name, and I think that her direction on this album was amazing, and I just think that this year is gonna be huge for her. She's already working with Sava and Smino, which are 2 of my favorite artists of all time, and it's just making me really excited. So I definitely think you guys should keep an eye out on No Name this year. She's gonna be popping off, and she's one of my favorite people to follow on Twitter. She is so freaking cute. I love her, and I've seen her in concert a couple of times. I really like this album, and I really want to see this one in concert too, because Telephone was pretty talky, and so she didn't rap as much as I would have liked to see. She kind of just talked over it. But I think she's definitely more musical in this album, and I think that it will be really cool in person to see. So the number 9 slot is Astro World from Travis Scott, and you might be like, what the freaking heck, Sarah? Why is it so low on the list? And honestly, as much as I love Travis Scott and I really love this album, it's such a good club getting drunk album. Oh my gosh, I remember exactly when it came out. I was in LA, we went to the club and like people were wiling out. It was super cool, and I really like especially a couple songs, like in particular Sicko Mode is iconic. You can't say anything else other than that. I think it's so low on the list for me because it doesn't have much meaning behind it, and I kind of like listening to music that I can think deeper meanings into, if that makes sense. Production wise, I think this album could be number 1. Like the production on this album is insane, but lyrically, he kind of just talks bullshit, which is totally fine. Like that's what people love about club music and stuff. Literally just like jamming about Jamba Juice, like okay, like I can get behind that. No, I guess I like chill music more unless I'm like drinking or going out, whatever. So that's why it's not that high on the list. So yeah. My next album, slot number 8, is KOD by J. Cole. Oh my god. I was definitely one of those followers when it comes to J. Cole. When everyone started kind of giving him a shit and like making fun of him, I was just like along for the ride, which I hate now, because after listening to this album, I definitely gave him the benefit of the doubt, because I used to freaking love Forest Hill Drive. Was like one of my favorite albums of all time. It was my first vinyl I ever got. Oh my god, I would listen to it back and forth, left and right, all the time. And then I didn't really like fuck with him for the rest couple albums, just because I don't know, maybe maybe it was just like the time in my life. I don't know, I wasn't about it, and I was seeing all the hate about him. I was like, I'm just not even gonna give it a chance. And then KOD came out, and Kevin's Heart stole my heart. And I mean, I don't think I have to say anymore. I just think KOD, I think J. Cole is a genius. I think he shouldn't get as much hate as he does. I've seen a lot of artists already start working with him in 2019. I cannot freaking wait for the albums coming out this year, you guys. Like, we don't deserve it. The next album I have is one that I hold closer to my heart. This is actually an EP. I added some, like 2 EPs in this because these 2 are very special. They just needed to be up there. This one is Yay by Kanye West. This album actually came out the day that my boyfriend asked me to be his girlfriend. That's why it's special to me. I don't know why. I like will always remember that. But Yay is just one of those albums I literally didn't stop listening to 2 months straight. I just thought it was so brilliant, and he is just so wild but doesn't care at all what other people think of him. And he really just hits mental health. He just goes straight for it. And when this album came out, I was actually going through a couple traumatic mental health experiences in my life, if you've seen my panic attack videos and stuff. And I remember I would just listen to this album and be like, dude, we're all crazy. Like, we all have something going on, especially even the like most famous human in the world. He said he thought about killing himself, but he loves himself way more than he loves you, and he thought about killing you, you know? So many people can seem so like normal and put together and like perfect on the outside, and then they talk about what's in their head, and you're like, you really know nothing about anyone. I think that's why music's really cool. It's because it's kind of just like people spilling out their diaries for people who care to listen, and it makes people feel related to, because no one knows what the fuck's going on in this world, you know what I mean? I think Ye really hit that message well. Whenever I listen to that album, I will think of that time in my life. I remember when I was just on my way to Bonnaroo, we were listening to it left and right, and it just made me feel better. So yeah. The next one is actually also an EP. This is number 6. This is my number 1 favorite right now. Like, I just can't stop listening to it. And this is an artist that's 100% underrated. You guys really need to get on the freaking train, the bandwagon, whatever. Rex Life Raj's California Poppy. This is about, I think it's 6 songs, it could be 8. This album is 100% like my go-to vibe. It is so happy. I will like turn it on every single time I'm in the car on my way to get my coffee. Got some Dunkin' Donuts coffee here. Literally makes me in the best mood every single time. Like, if you had to listen to one album on this list, it should be California Poppy by Rex Life Raj, because it'll make you in a good mood. You'll be like, what the heck, how come I've never heard of this guy in my life? And you'll thank me later. So I'm also seeing him in Chicago in February, and like I couldn't be more excited. Shit, you know, that just reminds me I missed a whole album. Okay, well, this is gonna technically be top 11 because I'm also in February going to see Boss, and I totally just forgot this whole album. This album is genius. It's called Milky Way by Boss. This is also tied with California Poppy because I guess since they're EP, it kind of counts. I don't know. It honestly might be higher than that. Milky Way is unlike any other album I've ever listened to, and like Boss has always held a special place in my heart, but this album is definitely worth a listen. I'm just like, Designer, such a good song. Boca Raton. Oh my god, that song was on repeat for at least 3 weeks for me. The whole album is such a good listen, front to back. Definitely recommend. Next is spot number 5. This is such a special shout out. This is Isolation by Kali Uchis. Like, I freaking love my girl Kali Uchis. She just gets me, you know? You turn on the album, and number 1, the whole album just goes together so seamlessly. I can't even describe it. You have to just listen. It starts when you're like, okay, I'm ready for this trip. Like, seriously, I'm ready. You just want to, it just makes you want to smoke something. It makes you want to just lay back in your bed and just vibe it out. Turn on all of my like little vibey lights, stuff like that. I saw Kali Uchis in concert at Bonnaroo actually, and that was at the peak of like my panic disorder, whatever I was going through. I remember it was happening during her concert, and I was so angry because I really wanted to like go towards the front and vibe with everyone, but I had to sit down and like close my eyes. And I remember she was relaxing me so much, just the way she like moves, the way she just presents herself to the world. She's just definitely in her own lane, and I wouldn't relate anyone else to her. Like, how do you relate someone to that? Next is number 4. Number 4 is my boys Brockhampton came out with Iridescence this year. You're probably like, what the heck, Sarah? I thought that'd be definitely #1. And I'm not gonna say anything good about Amir Van, but I really did think that the album was missing that bass voice. You know, he definitely had the deepest, like most strong voice in the band, I guess. Everyone else, I freaking love every single member of Brockhampton. Like, I could go on for hours about them, but I do think that the album was kind of missing a deeper bass, and it would be at #1 if it had something like that. And obviously I don't think it should be Amir Van, because all of the allegations and everything. They probably ended up making a good choice towards the end about everything with that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up. Brockhampton had to drop one of their #1 members, actually the face of Brockhampton at the time before Iridescence came out, so it changed everything. But you know, I still love my boys, and I still think it's a musical masterpiece. They are just so ahead of their time when it comes to music. I don't know, love them. #3, I used to say is album of the year, and I just saw him in concert, and dude, it would be album of the year, but these top 3 are just tied for #1, I swear. This one's Noir by Smino. Smino's always gonna be like one of my favorite artists of all time. I just saw him in concert for my Christmas present in St. Louis. Thank you, Garrett, if you're watching this. You're the best. I met him. He's so awesome, so chill. Black Swan was an amazing album, like literally probably my favorite album of 2017, but Noir is just so different. I'm looking through it right now. I don't even think I could like pick my favorite song off of this, because I have to listen to it top to bottom like I do most albums. But the whole album, honestly, I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say about him. Like, he's just the GOAT. If you listen to it, you'll understand. Honestly, my favorite one to actually like move to is Merlot. Love that song. Love the album. Wish I had more things to say about it. I don't. It just speaks for itself. #2 is Care For Me by Saba. Saba. If you don't know who Saba is, you need to exit out my video and go look him up. He is not only on the come up, he's come out with a song every single week for the past 6 weeks, which is insane for an artist. And not only that, but they've all been bangers. Like, they've all gone so hard and they're so unique. He definitely has found his voice, and it's really cool because if you look up his like Tiny Desk concert, his dad plays the guitar for him, or was it the bass? I don't know, one of the two. So dope. This album is so different than his last album. I think his last album is one of my favorite albums of all time, and that's West Side Story 3. Is that the name of the album? Wait, no. Sorry, his last album is called The Bucket List, and I just think it's such a work of art. Like, he goes through, talks about what's on his bucket list, all of his friends' bucket list. Like, it's just really dope. I love that album so much. It just tells such a good story. This album is way different. Care For Me is definitely way more depressing. He lost someone really, really close to him and just kind of tells us all about it. He really just talks about mental health and depression right out there, but not in like a negative light. I was going through a lot this year as well, and when I listened to this album, he starts out with the line, "I'm so alone, fuck all of my friends." He basically talks about how he's in a room with millions of people and he's so alone, and that's like what kind of depression feels like. And the album's really sad, but it's at the same time just so well done. Like, I need more adjectives or something. Maybe this is my first one, I'll get better, but this would be #1 if it weren't for my actual #1, which is biased because of the events that happened this year. But my #1 album of 2018 is Swimming by Mac Miller. And if you saw my Instagram, I listened to 55 hours of Mac Miller this year. This is my #1 of all time artist. Literally listen to him at least once a day. Swimming really was different for me. It came out the 3rd or 4th day I came to LA, and he actually had a mini concert like 2 days after, and I was gonna go and then was sold out like as soon as I was even looked at the page. I could make a whole separate video about Mac Miller, but you guys know, if you've watched me for a really long time, he used to be like the intro of all my videos. I've made so many videos about him on my vlog channel. I feel like I've just grown up with him, and every single album he goes through, I'm like, I feel you, I hear you. And this year I was the most excited for him because after listening to Swimming over and over and over again, I felt so happy for him. You could tell he was just, after his breakup with Ariana Grande, he was actually really willing to work on himself, and I saw that, I felt that. I was on his Instagram, looking at his Instagram story all the time. He was working out all of the time, and I even bought tickets to go see him in Chicago. I was so excited because Swimming was just such a dope album to be able to understand him through, because I actually saw him in concert when he had Good AM out, and you could just tell in the lyrics, you could tell in his presentation that he just was going through a really rough time when it comes to drugs, when it comes to life, everything like that. You know, I give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Addiction is not a choice at all, ever. Really a mental illness, and he was addicted to drugs, and Swimming to me made it seem like he wasn't glamorizing it anymore, and he was on the right path. He was swimming away, you know, he was swimming away from that path. And it just makes me really sad that, of course, after this amazing, incredible, happier album of his, that he accidentally overdosed. Oh my gosh, like just the fact that like 2 weeks before he did this, I had already bought tickets, had bought a dope hotel room in Chicago to come see him. It's not even because of that, it's just him as a human. I think he's just he deserved everything. Every single song on here is a masterpiece. Like I don't think he could have made this album better, seriously. And the thing that really sucks about it is that it came out the same day as Astroworld, and I didn't care about Astroworld at all the same day, but like people were shitting on him, like literally bullying him, because they're like, why the fuck would you upload an album the same day as Travis Scott? Which, like, why not? Who cares? You know, it's not like you have to have your own day, you know? I would always back him up till the day I die. But yeah, that is my number one. I hope I didn't ramble on too much. I hope I gave enough an explanation, but really this is just my opinion. If you have a different opinion, please don't be mean, but just let's casually talk it up in the comment section down below. I'd really like that. A couple honorable mentions I want to hit on before I go. I've been obsessed with this album the past like 3 days. It actually came out in 2018, so I'm adding it, but I didn't find it until 2019, so I didn't put it in my top 10. But this is Harlan and Alondra, I think it's pronounced, by Buddy. This album, I like randomly found one of the songs on my Discover Weekly, and I was like, holy shit, this is incredible. And so I listened to the whole album. It is amazing. I really recommend that one. Also, Oxnard by Anderson .Paak. Oh my gosh, I love the song Tint. Like, I got a little cooped up. Like the way that song starts can get me jamming. Like it just gets me grooving back and forth all day long. Another one is Sweetener by Ariana Grande. I love Mac Miller so much. I literally had like a little like grudge against Ariana Grande, and I know a lot of you Ariana Grande fans are gonna be like, what the fuck? But I didn't give Sweetener a listen for a really long time until recently, and it's a really bomb album. My ears tend to gravitate towards male voices more, but you know, the whole album, like you can't not mention that album. It's so good. So yeah, those are my honorable mentions. If I missed any that you might be like, what the heck, Sarah? Comment them down below. I'll respond to any comments after this is uploaded. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys want me to do more of like a music series or anything of that sort, let me know in the comment section down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Peace.
I'm so alone with all of my friends, but all of my friends got some shit to do.